Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Sa mga participants po natin na nandito, please put your name and the company where you are connected para po mamaya we will be acknowledging your presence. Maraming salamat po. Again po, sa mga participants po natin na nandito sa Zoom, please put your name and the company where you're connected po dito sa ating chat box para ma-acknowledge po kayo mamaya. Maraming salamat.
Peke mo.
Ang peke mo.
Ang peke mo.
Dahil sa paggamit ng peking pestisidyo, napeste ang pananim.
Lumiit ang kita.
Apektado ang kabuhayan ng pamilya.
Hindi na kami gagamit ng peke.
Umiwas sa pagbili ng peking pestisidyo. Gumamit lamang ng produktong aprobado ng Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority.
Ang peke mo.
Ang peke mo.
Ang peke mo.
Dahil sa paggamit ng peking pestisidyo na peste ang pananim.
Lumiit ang kita.
Apektado ang kabuhayan ng pamilya.
Hindi na kami gagamit ng peke.
Umiwas sa pagbili ng peking pestisidyo. Gumamit lamang ng produktong aprobado ng Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority.
Kwento ng bagong pananaw sa produksyon, malakas ang kooperasyon. Katuwang ng mga magsasaka, pamahalaan at pribadong sektor. Dadagdagan ang kaalaman sa kabuhayan. Sa negosyo, pahusayin ang kakayahan. Angkop at bagong teknolohiya, subsidyo, pagtubig at infrastruktura. Siguradong pagkain sa buong bansa. Masaganang ani, mataas na kita. Maunlad na buhay ng mga magsasaka at mga mangingisda. Siguradong pagkain sa buong bansa. Masaganang ani, mataas na kita. Maunlad na buhay ng mga magsasaka at mga mangingisda. Siguradong pagkain sa buong bansa. Masaganang ani, mataas na kita. Maunlad na buhay ng mga magsasaka at mga mangingisda. Siguradong pagkain sa buong bansa. Siguradong pagkain sa buong bansa. Siguradong pagkain sa buong bansa. Siguradong pagkain sa buong bansa.
Sa mga participants po natin, please settle down. We will start in a few minutes. Maraming salamat. Friday, November 19, the FPA's webinar series Season 2, Episode 6 opens. Everyone, naniniwala ba kayo na life is full of challenges and uncertainties? Pero if there's one thing that is certain, yun ay life will be a lot easier if we have goals or direction kung ano yung gagawin natin sa buhay. And one way para magkaroon tayo ng direction, sa work man, or in our day-to-day life, is to establish certain rules. Kagaya ng topic natin, we will be discussing requirements and procedures. The things that we will be discussing today will serve as our compass para maintindihan natin yung mga documents that we need to prepare and the steps that we need to take to avail some of the services offered by the Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority. I am Camille, an Information Officer from the Planning, Management and Information Division, and I will be your host for this episode. Last week, nagkaroon tayo ng special back-to-back episode with the Fertilizer Regulations Division, kung saan nalaman natin ang iba't ibang services from FRD. Nalaman din natin kung ano yung mga forms na dapat i-download and i-submit ng ating mga clients. At ngayon naman, we will be discussing the different services under the Planning, Management and Information Division and Laboratory Services Division. Pero bago ang lahat, to officially start the program, as one FPA nation, let us surrender ourselves to our Almighty Father.
Aming Panginoon, Diyos na mahapagin, ang tunay na nagmamahal sa amin, na iyong pinakamamahal na nilikha. Kami po ngayon ay dumudulog sa iyo upang magpasalamat sa lahat ng biyaya, malaki man ito o maliit, sa pagpahintulot mo na maisagawa ang pagtitipon na ito kahit nasa maraming pagsubok na hinaharap namin ngayon. Sa araw na ito, inaanyayahan ka namin na samahan kami sa aming paglalakbay tungo sa karunungan at kaalaman na siyang maging instrumento ng aming pagbabalik-bigay sa mga nangangailangan sa amin. Lugod po naming iniaalay sa iyo ang pagtitipon na ito na sana'y maging kaaya-aya ito sa iyo at magbigay parangal sa iyong kabanalan. Hinihingi po namin sa iyo ang pagtatagumpay ng webinar na ito na sana'y maging kaaya-aya ito sa iyo at magbigay tulong sa mga lubos na nangangailangan sa kung anuman ang matutunan namin sa araw na ito. Lahat ng ito ay dinadalangin namin sa pamamagitan ni Jesucristo, iyong anak. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Ang ligaya
Sa mga participants po natin na nasa Zoom, please focus your attention sa screen po natin para sa ating webinar house rules. Alright, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Again, I am Camille and I will be your host for this episode. So, bago po tayo magsimula, I would like to acknowledge Ms. Herolet Sahagon, the Division Chief of Laboratory Services Division. So, kasama din po natin yung mga kapamilya natin sa FPA from different regions. Maraming salamat po for being here despite your busy schedule. And of course, we would like to acknowledge our participants na nandito ngayon who accepted our invitation na pinadala namin last Tuesday and Wednesday. Magsisimula po tayo kang Miss Maria Cristina Palad from ARCO Galion Agri-Ventures Incorporated, Mark Polancos from Vetra Medical Corporation. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. We have Catherine Vergara from Quadsys Incorporated, Faith Fidel from Camras Technologies Incorporated, and Niall Paradillo from Northern Negros State College of Science and Technology. We also have with us Jessa Gusela from ProFood International Corporation. We have Miss Bevelyn F. Baclao, Fritzi Chuang, Jemmy Suelo from People's Agri-Service and Supply Incorporated, Jay Lompago from Sinochem, and we have Regine Allo from EcoKill Pest Control Incorporated. We also have Jonathan Rex E. Bautista from JCS Chemical Industries Incorporated. We also have with us joining Sanjin Pest Exterminator Services, Mary's Villanueva from Somochem Corporation, Aurelio Picatoste Jr. from ProFood International Corporation, Jonathan E. Asuncion from Asia Brewery Incorporated, Enzo Tapping from Corteva Agri-Science Philippines Incorporated, Dwayne Marquez from Algae Agro-Industrial Solutions, Francisco C. Jr. from Davco Bukidnon, Virginia R. Ocampo from PAE. Magandang umaga po, Doc. We have Baradas and Tom Pest Control, Jerica Roldan, Camden Industry Incorporated, Ray Angelo S. Diet from Department of Agriculture Regional Office 11 from Field Operations Division Foreign Program. We also have with us Lorna B. Kihida of JLQ Wood, Beverly F. Baclao from Sanjun Pest Exterminator Services, Aruela Sanchez from National Food Authority, Cebu, Glazy Lentina from Pest Science Corporation, Kenneth Barata from GTS Exterminators and Fumigators. We have from PAFI, Gary Ortiz from Insections Pest Control Services, Maria Vanessa V. Monte from RPH of P&D Medivet Distribution Incorporated, Rod Orquilla, TABPI from Guimaras, Teresa P. Hernandez from Camera Technologies Incorporated, Jaime O. Pomposa from Laungkupang FFSP Cooperative. We also have with us from Camres and Francis Trey William, Mandawi Modern Pest Control Incorporated, Nario Camposano, Elmer B. Paradas from Entom Pest Control, Tom Dean Espana from UPL Deco, Malan Bolita, a student Agri-Science Corporation, 4A Agri-Science Corporation, Nirio Camposona Cortova Agri-Science, Romel Aranton from AgSmart Corporation, Surimes Pest Management Services, Paul Cruz Kabukiran, Joanne Marie Pareño, Hunter Marketing and Development Corporation, Ulysses Dagan, Lion Joy Tiamason, Melody Borromeo from Just Trading Services, Lorna B. Quijada, Sumifiro Philippines Corporation, Pacific Fumigation, and Rainforest Pest Control and Allied Services. At marami pa po tayong kasama, humahabol po si Tagum Agricultural Development Corporation Incorporated, East West Seeds from Donna May Familia, Martin Abubo, and Hoti Fikpikan, Joselito El Cura, Chosin R. Cura, from Kertipes Applicator and Fumigation Services. We also have Michelle P. Paul from NFA Cebu. We also have with us Jaime Montesino, Diamond Fumigation, Renalo B. Oxino, Alvina Alvira from Agritech Corporation, Renalo B. Oxino, Sumifiro Philippines Corporation, Jenny Terry Casas, RICD, Tadeco, Davao del Norte. Wow. We also have with us Raquel J. Carrera, NFA Cebu. And lastly, we have from Aris RNE Chemical Corporation and JMEC Extermination and Fumigation Services Corporation. Maraming salamat po for accepting our invitation. And sa ngayon po, meron po tayong 111 participants. Na-beat po natin yung record natin last week na 85 participants. So maraming salamat for accepting our invitation. Sa mga hindi po nakahabol na makapasok sa aming Zoom, you can also watch our webinar via live through our official Facebook page at FPA official page. So if may mga questions po kayo later on during the presentation, you can just comment down your questions, and may mga FPA officers po tayo na nakaantabay para sa mga questions po ninyo sa ating Facebook Live. And dito naman po sa mga participants natin sa Zoom, just maximize our chat box. We will be accommodating all your questions at the end of the presentation. So we have two main objectives for this morning. First is to know the different services offered by the Planning Management and Information Division, specifically the accreditation services, and of course, the services offered by the Laboratory Services Division. So I guess without further ado, let us start with the FPA accreditation services, particularly ASD, ARCO, CPA, Fertilizer and Pesticide Researchers, FPA Accredited Trainee Association, or FATA. And it is an honor for me to introduce to you our guest speaker for this morning. We have with us Ms. Eleni Peach Gonzalez, Administrative Officer 2 from the Planning Management and Information Division. Magandang umaga po, Ms. Eleni. The virtual floor is now yours.
Good morning, Ms. Camille. So sa lahat po ng participants natin here in Zoom, good morning po. At sa lahat ng nanonood sa Facebook Live, good morning to everyone. So ang topic na i-discuss ko po ay ang FPA Accreditation Services. So hintayin lang po natin na ma-show po yung presentation. Okay po. Under po sa accreditation activities ni FPA, meron po tayong 5. So number 1, si Accredited Safety Dispenser or ASD. Number 2, Accredited Responsible Care Officer or ARCO. Number 3, Certified Pesticide Applicator or CPA. Number 4, Fertilizer and Pesticide Researchers. And lastly po, yung ating FPA Accredited Training Associations or FATA. So next slide. So what is the purpose of accreditation? To update and upgrade the technical knowledge of commercial users in line with the standards and or protocols set by the FPA. So sa accreditation po ay ini-issue namin sa person po. Bukod pa po yung license po to operate na ini-issue naman po sa company. So si accreditation po ay part lamang po ng requirements po para makakuha ng license. So bakit sinabing to update and upgrade? Kasi po, bago kayo ma-accredit, a-attend muna kayo ng trainings and symposium. So during the trainings, may mga topics po doon na ini-include yung regulations and rules and regulations po ni FPA and yung mga topics po na kagaya ng handling and managing of fertilizer and pesticide. So kaya po siya sinabing update and upgrade. So next slide. So punta po tayo sa una, who is safety dispenser? So sila po yung proprietors or employees of licensed dealers. So pag sinabi nating dealers, ito po yung nag-over-the-counter selling po ng mga fertilizer and pesticide directly po sa mga end users or buyers natin. So sa safety dispenser, pwede din po siyang mga individual business operator or IBO. So pag sinabi naman po nating individual business operator, ito po yung mga authorized na magbenta po ng fertilizer and pesticide. Tapos ang source po nila ay from a mother company na duly licensed din po with FPA. So parang nagda-direct selling po sila. So next slide po. So ano ba yung mga responsibilities ni ASD? So number 1, as an ASD, the ASD shall advise buyers or end users on the safe use, handling, and storage of fertilizer and pesticide products at the store or during business operations. So bilang ASD dapat tinuturuan niyo po yung mga pinagbebentahan niyo po kung paano ba yung tamang paggamit po ng fertilizer and pesticide products. Number 2, kailangan personally present po during business hours. And number 3, the ASD shall keep records of sale and disposition of fertilizer or pesticide products, and the same shall be available for inspection by FPA. Lastly, the ASDs shall ensure that only FPA registered fertilizer and pesticide products are being dispensed. So para ma-sure po natin na safe po yung mga produktong binibenta nyo po, kailangan registered lamang po with FPA. Next slide po. So paano ba maging isang ASD? Paano ma-accredit? Number 1 po, kailangan umattend ng ASD training wherein ang participant po dapat ay high school graduate and legal age po, 18 years old pataas. So after nyo pong makapag-attend ng training, pwede nyo na po siyang i-apply sa amin. Ang kailangan lang po ay application form and then yung certificate of attendance nyo po during the training. Tapos ang accreditation fee na po doon ay 600 pesos, valid for 3 years na po yun. Next slide. For renewal naman po, so no need to attend na po training ulit. Pag renewal, form lang po, and then yung payment fee po na 600 na valid po for 3 years. So ito yung sample na application po natin for ASD. So pwede nyo siyang ma-download sa aming website. Punta lang po kayo sa aming website para po ma-download po yung mga forms. So for ASD trainings po, kung gusto nyo po mag-attend ng training, ang ASD trainings po ay kinakandak po ng aming mga provincial and regional offices po. So, pakontakin nyo lamang po sila for the schedule. So, yung ASD trainings po namin, meron siyang 3 mode po ngayon. So, number 1 po, yung virtual training dahil nga po sa pandemic. So, mostly po, online na po yung training. And then yung number 2 po, yung ASD training or yung normal na ASD training po namin na 2 days. And then number 3 po, yung alternative ASD trainings wherein 4 hours na po yung training, kinompress po yung topics into 4 hours lang po. So next na po tayo dun sa pangalawang accreditation, which is the Responsible Care Officer or yung tinatawag po natin na ARCO. So sino si ARCO? Ito po yung mga proprietors or employees po ng mga pesticide handlers. Yung mga pesticide handlers na po ito ay yung importer, distributor, national distributor, area distributor, exporter, manufacturer, formulator, repacker, extruder, and end user or international user. So next slide po. So ano ba yung responsibilities ni ARCO? So number 1, they shall be expected to initiate promotion of responsible care program in their respective companies. And number 2, they shall provide active leadership in the education and training of farmers, contracted applicators, and relevant clients. So next slide po. So ano po yung mga requirements para ma-accredit na bilang ARCO? So number 1 po, a-attend lamang po kayo ng training course na ARCO po. And then pagka-attend nyo po ng training, may examination po na iti-take. So sa examination po, dapat ang passing rate po natin ay 70%. So dapat po makakuha kayo ng 70%. Tapos kapag 60 to 69 po yung nakuha nyo po, removal na po siya. So yung removal po, pwede siyang matake isang beses lang po within a year po na malabas po namin yung result. So kapag ano po, 59 below, automatic failed na po siya. So kapag naka-attend na po ng training and then number 2 nakapag-take na po ng examination, doon yun na po siya pwede i-apply. So si ARCO po, ang requirement lang naman po niya ay yung Certificate of Attendance dun sa ARCO training and then Certificate of Employment. Kung company owner po kayo, proof of ownership lang po. And then yung payment fee ay 900 pesos, valid for 3 years na po yun. So pag magre-renew naman po, same lang naman din po. Ang kinaibahan lang niya for renewal, mag-a-attend na po ng symposium. So for ARCO, 2 symposium po yung nire-require namin. And then yun po, application form lang din, Certificate of Employment, and then yung 2 certificate ng attendance sa symposium. Tapos 900 pesos po ulit, valid for 3 years. So ito din po yung sample form for ARCO. So same lang din siya ng form for ASD po. I-check nyo lamang po kung new or renewal and then check nyo po kung pag-ARCO po. So ayun po, dahil sa pandemic nga po and may new normal tayo, so sa FPA po, yung examination ay kinakandak na po namin through online pero face-to-face pa rin siya pero computer po yung gamit. So pag sa examination po, ini-schedule po namin kayo sa mga FPA regional offices or provincial offices na malapit po sa location nyo po, and kapag dito sa NCR naman po, sa central office po kayo magte-take ng examination. So punta po tayo dun sa 3rd na accreditation, yung Certified Pesticide Applicator. So sino ba si CPA? Ito po yung mga person na nag-attend ng required training, nakapasa ng examination, and accredited as an individual with the capacity to safely manage the handling of pesticide. So under ni CPA, meron po tayong mga category. So number 1 po, si exterminator. So si exterminator, a CPA who uses liquid and powder forms of pesticide, including restricted pesticide and coated compounds in the control or treatment of agricultural pests. So under po na exterminator, ang ina-accredit lamang po namin ay yung mga empleyado po ng isang company na nag-work po as in-house lamang po. So in-house lang po dito sa exterminator and kailangan po for agricultural use, hindi po for urban pest application. So kapag for urban pest application po, sa FDA po siya or sa Food and Drug Administration po. So number 2 po, si fumigator. Si fumigator naman po, a CPA who uses gaseous pesticide or fumigants or coated compounds in the control and treatment of agricultural pests. So kapag si fumigator naman po, pwedeng employee po siya ng isang licensed PCO namin, and then pwede din po as in-house po ng isang company. So ito po yung bago natin ngayon, yung drone. So number 3, drone controller po. A CPA was a license from the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines to operate or fly drone and uses in the application of pesticides in agriculture. And lastly po, si drone spray crew supervisor, which is yung assistant po ni drone controller. So, next slide. So ano ba yung areas of activity coverage po ni CPA? So number 1, crops. Number 2, grains. Number 3, ornamentals. Number 4, raw wood materials. Number 5, seed crops. Number 6, trees. Number 7, turfs. And lastly, yung wood packaging materials. So as you can see po, these are all for agricultural use po and commodities. So ano ba yung mga responsibilities ni CPA? So number 1, shall demonstrate competence and practical knowledge in safe use, handling, storage, and disposal of restricted pesticides. Number 2, life cycle of wide variety of agricultural pests. Number 3, types of formulation appropriate for pest extermination and fumigations. Number 4, safe and effective pest control management and appropriate personal protective equipment. So itong mga to ay tinuturo naman po during the training. Number 2 po, shall have direct supervision of service technicians and always present during application of the restricted pesticides. Next slide po. May number 3, shall ensure that only FPA registered pesticide lamang po ang gagamitin during the application po ng pesticide. Number 4, shall keep a record especially when restricted pesticide were used. So bakit po kailangan may record? So during po na pag nag-apply na po kayo ng license and nag-renew po kayo ng accreditation, hinihingi po namin yung pest control report para ma-check po namin kung tama po ba yung mga ginagamit ninyo na pesticide po. So number 5, shall inform FPA of the termination of his services with the licensed pest control operator and his movement to another PCO. So dito po, for example, ako po ay employee ng company A. So nag-resign po ako dito sa company A, lumipat ako sa company B. So pag ganun po yung scenario, kailangan nyo pong i-apply ulit yung accreditation nyo po under kay company B kung saan po ako lumipat. Kasi yung accreditation ko po previously ay valid lamang po siya doon sa company na nauna. So kapag lumipat po kayo, kailangan po i-apply nyo po ulit siya. And then, number 6 po, in case of in-house CPA, his service is limited only to his company or office specified in his accreditation card. So kapag in-house po kayo, hindi kayo pwedeng mag-conduct po ng services po sa ibang company. Kung saan lang po yung company na nilagay nyo po, na pina-accredit nyo po, doon lamang po kayo pwede mag-service kapag in-house CPA po. And then number 7, shall regularly attend symposium or seminar managed by the FPA Training Association. So, pinag-attend po namin ng symposium dahil part din po siya ng requirement for renewal and then para malaman nyo po kung ano yung mga new trends po when it comes to pesticide application. So ano po yung mga requirements para maging isang CPA for new applicant po? Number 1, kailangan mag-attend ng training. CPA training po ito. And then yung participants po ay dapat Filipino citizen, legal age, 18 years old and above, and at least have a college level of education. So after nyo po mag-attend ng training course, meron po ulit siyang examination wherein sa examination po, ang passing rate po ulit ay 70%. And then for removal po, 66 to 69%. So kapag ito po yung nakuha yung rating, 66 to 69, may chance po kayo to take the exam ulit, pero once lang po, within 1 year from the issuance po ng test result. And then kapag nakapag-training na po and attend the examination, pwede na po kayo mag-proceed with the application. So sa application po, application form lang po and then ang attachment po ay yung certificate of employment and then yung certificate po ng attendance po sa CPA training. So ang payment fee po natin sa CPA ay 600, valid for 1 year. So for renewal naman po, ganun po ulit, attend lang po ng symposium. And then sa application form, within ang attachment po ay yung certificate of employment, certificate of attendance to symposium, and then kapag in-house CPA po, yung report of pesticide usage. Payment fee po ulit, 600, valid for 1 year. So for drone controller and spray operation crew, so for drone controller, kailangan po accredited muna kayo as Certified Pesticide Applicator or CPA. So after nyo po ma-accredit as CPA, kailangan din po ng attachment ng CAAP license. So pag in-apply nyo po siya, ang requirement lang po namin ay yung valid accreditation nyo po as CPA and then yung CAAP license and application form. Ang payment fee ay 600, valid for 1 year. And then si spray operation crew, which is yung assistant ni drone controller, ang requirement naman po niya ay yung valid CPA or ARCO. And then payment fee of 600 lang po. Next slide. So recently po, nag-issue po kami ng Memorandum Circular number 33, addendum po siya dun sa MC number 28 na inisyo noong 2018, wherein nire-required na po yung ARPA's Operator Certificate para po dun sa mga companies na gumagamit po ng drones na ang weight po ng drone ay 7 kilos and above and intended for commercial use po. So ito po yung sample form natin for CPA. So i-check nyo lamang po kapag new or renewal po, and then kung agricultural fumigator or agricultural exterminator. So ito naman po yung for drone controller and crew. Next slide po. So number 4 na po tayo, yung fertilizer pesticide researchers. So sino ba itong mga researchers? Sila po yung nagkakandak na experiment to generate data to support fertilizer and pesticide product registration. So kailangan po itong researcher po yung nagkakandak ng experiment para po dun sa EUP or yung para ma-register po yung fertilizer and pesticide product sa amin. Next slide. So ano ba yung mga disciplines po? For fertilizer researcher po, meron po tayong plant nutrition. And then for pesticide researcher po, meron po tayong entomology or yung insecticide, plant pathology, or yung fungicide po, and then yung weed science or herbicide po, and then yung SPRT or yung supervised pesticide residue trial and other allied research disciplines. So, paano ma-accredit bilang researcher? Number 1, attended the training workshop which includes presentation of test protocols for representative discipline. So, dito po sa training, gagawa din po kayo ng protocol in which yung sa number 2 po natin, i-review po siya ng mga approved fertilizer and pesticide technical evaluators namin. So, ang paggawa po ng protocol, kung ano po yung i-a-apply niyo na discipline, yun po yung gagawa niyo po. So per discipline po ito. Kung halimbawa ako po ay mag-a-apply as pesticide researcher po for entomology and weed science, so gagawa po ako ng protocol for entomology and gagawa din po ako for weed science. And then after po maka-attend ng training and ma-review na po yung protocol na ginawa niyo po, pwede niyo na po siyang na-review yung protocol and na-approve po, pwede na pong i-apply sa FPA. So, ang requirements lang naman po ay yung application form, kasama po yung attachment na latest resume with details on research undertakings, academic specializations, and years of research experience. So, per renewal, same lang din po, a-attend lamang po ng symposium. So for additional requirements lang po, sa new researchers po, kailangan po at least 3 years research experience na po dun sa discipline na i-a-apply nyo po. At kapag additional discipline naman, authorship of 1 publication in a referee journal or 2 publications in non-referee journal. So kung wala pong publication, pwede pong at least 5 years research experience. And then for in-house researchers po, nire-require din po namin na mag-attach po ng certification stating that publication of researchers are not allowed due to confidentiality. So payment fee po, ang payment po for first discipline of accreditation ng researcher po ay 1,200. Kapag additional discipline po, pag gusto nyo separate yung ID, 1,200 po ulit yon. And kung gusto nyo naman po na sa isang ID lang po, additional 400 pesos lamang po. So ito po yung sample na application form po namin for researcher. Kailangan nyo lang pong i-check po yung mga discipline na i-a-apply nyo po. Kung plant nutrition, plant pathology, and such po. So wag pong kalimutan yung signature din po. Next slide po. And last na po tayo, nandito tayo sa accreditation of FPA Training Association. So sino ba itong mga FPA Training Associations namin? Sila po yung nagmamanage and nagkakandak po ng mga trainings ng ARCO, CPA, and researchers po. So if interested po kayo na mag-apply as FPA Training Associations, kailangan nyo lamang po mag-submit ng mga documents na ito, yung accomplished application for accreditation, SEC registration, general information sheet, association profile, list of trainers and their qualification, and yung training module po. Next slide. So per renewal naman po, ang requirements lang po ay yung overall training evaluation rating na with at least satisfactory and yung updated general information sheet of the associations or organizations. So para dun sa evaluation rating, ito po siya. Ito po yung, compose po yung overall training evaluation ng number 1 po, yung evaluation po ng training participants after po makandak po nung training. So nagpapa-answer po kami ng evaluation sa mga participants. So kina-consolidate namin yon. And then after po ng training participants, meron din po nag-observe ng mga FPA regional officer or FPA representative, and then nag-evaluate din po sila. And lastly po, yung passing rate. So kinukuha din po namin yung passing rate po ng mga examinees na nag-take po na related po dun sa training. So for 2021 schedule, so nakandak na po namin yung last training, last November 9 to 11. So for trainings po on next year, tayo nyo lamang po yung updates namin and announcement po. So ipopost naman din po namin siya sa website kapag meron na pong schedule for next year. Sa ngayon po, wala na po kasi nakandak na po yung last. So next slide po. So ayun po, for appointment system na din po kami ngayon. So kung kailangan nyo pong mag-submit ng application, email nyo lang po sa amin. For ASD po, fpa77.asd@gmail.com. For ARCO po, fpa77.arco@gmail.com. For CPA po, fpa77.cpa@gmail.com. Included na din po dito yung sa mga drone controller. And sa researcher po, fpa77.researcher@gmail.com. So yung mga outside NCR po, pwede pa rin po kayo mag-submit sa mga regional or provincial offices po namin and doon po magbayad. So kapag dito naman po sa appointment system namin, magsasubmit muna kayo ng application through email and then isiset po natin yung appointment upon pick up po and payment of the accreditation card. So yun lamang po. So pag may mga questions po, later po natin i-entertain. Thank you po.
Alright, maraming salamat po, Ms. Eleni, for that detailed explanation regarding the requirements of the different services offered by the Planning Management and Information Division. Kaya nga po nasabi ni Ms. Eleni kanina, later po we will entertain all your questions. Pero you can also chat it na po sa ating Zoom chat box at sa ating Facebook Live. Just comment down your questions. Ngayon, after the Planning Management Information Division Services, pupunta naman po tayo sa Laboratory Services Division kung saan malalaman natin yung other na mga services na ina-offer nila. Particularly, yung una, we have the issuance of permit to purchase methyl bromide. We have with us Ms. Erica, Chemist 2 of the Laboratory Services Division.
Hello everyone, good morning po sa ating lahat. Welcome to the FPA Webinar Series Season 2 po, Episode 5. So for this episode po, we will be presenting the guidelines for methyl bromide transactions. So ito po yun, yung Memorandum Circular Number 3, Series of 2017, Guidelines for Methyl Bromide Transactions. Overview lang po kung ano po yung laman ng presentation namin. Introduction, so brief description for methyl bromide, its use, bakit po siya nire-regulate, and after po nito, guidelines in the importation, purchase, movement, distribution, and usage. So, under this, yung process flow, yung mga processing steps, mga requirements, then yung fee po for the permit to purchase methyl bromide, and also since nire-regulate po ang methyl bromide, paano minomonitor ni FPA ang usage and yung movement, distribution of methyl bromide, and yung reporting system. And of course, yung penalties po, no? Kapag mali po yung pag-handle po natin ng methyl bromide. And last, of course po, yung question and answer, kung may mga questions po tayo, no? We will try to answer them all po. So, brief description lang po for methyl bromide. Methyl bromide is a colorless and odorless gas at room temperature and has a sweetish odor at very high concentration. No? Methyl bromide is important. It is important kasi it has many uses as a methylating agent, no? And one of its use is as a fumigant, no? Fumigant, which is to control pests in agriculture and shipping, no? Ginagamit siya as fumigant since sabi nila very stable siya, extremely penetrating, and easily ventilated. There are 3 types of methyl bromide products sa market, no? First is yung 100% methyl bromide, then methyl bromide with not more than 2% chloropicrin, then yung last is methyl bromide with more than 2% chloropicrin. Methyl bromide is very important, however, harmful po siya. No? It is regarded as a toxic substance kasi it can cause central nervous system and respiratory system failures and can harm the lungs, eyes, and skin. No? Hindi lang po siya harmful, many scientists considered methyl bromide as an ozone-depleting substance po, since it increases ultraviolet radiation to reach the Earth's surface. That's why po, no, methyl bromide is being regulated. Si Montreal Protocol, this is an international treaty po, which intends to protect the Earth, no, from the damaging effect of ozone depletion, no? Sila po yung nagde-define po ng measure to limit the production of methyl bromide, and at the same time yung pag-regulate po ng mga paggamit. So, itong Montreal Protocol po, nag-start po siya around 1980s, then the Philippines became a signatory to the protocol on September 14, 1988. Then, noong 1992, nakasama na po ang methyl bromide sa listahan ng ozone-depleting substances. Methyl bromide regulation. The National Methyl Bromide Phase-Out Strategy was instituted in 2005 by FPA and concluded by the end of 2009. So, sa period na to, from 2005 to 2009, ito po yung mga nangyari, no? So, noong 2005, FPA issued a memorandum which promulgate the guidelines for handlers of methyl bromide. Then, noong 2006 and 2007, additional measures for methyl bromide. And noong 2011, total phase-out na po ang non-quarantine and pre-shipment of methyl bromide. Then, ito na nga po yung guidelines natin na ginagamit. FPA Memorandum Circular Number 3, Series of 2017. Ginawa po to through consultative meeting with BPI, QS, and other stakeholders of the fumigation industry. Ayan. So, as I mentioned earlier po, non-QPS application ay na-phase out na po. So, ang pinaggagamitan na lang po ng methyl bromide ay yung quarantine pre-shipment application. So, for quarantine application, ito po yung treatments to prevent the introduction, establishment, spread of quarantine pests, or to ensure official control. For pre-shipment application, ito po yung any treatment other than quarantine application applied within 21 days prior to export to meet the official requirements of the importing country. Ayun. So, scope for this memorandum or yung paggagamitan lang po ng methyl bromide are the following, no? Agricultural products, raw wood materials, and wood packaging materials. So, ito lang po dapat yung pinagagamitan ng methyl bromide natin. Ayun, so let's proceed to the methyl bromide process flow. So, issuance of permit to purchase methyl bromide for QPS application, walk-in clients. Requirements po natin, first is yung accomplished application form. Then, yung disposition logbook po natin, validated po dapat ng FPA representative natin. At the same time, may signature po ang BPI inspectors natin. Kasi tuwing fumigation naman po, I believe may mga BPI inspectors po tayong sumasama during fumigation. Then, yung disposition logbook din po natin, dapat pirmado ng mismong fumigator. And kung magpapasa po tayo ng application for permit to purchase, please see to it na updated yung ipapasa po natin or yung pinaka-recent na month ang mapapasa natin. So for example, nag-apply po tayo ng permit to purchase this month, November, no? So kailangan po ang isasubmit nyo pong disposition logbook is until October 2021. Ayan. So, another requirement, dapat po valid ang pest control operator license natin and at the same time yung certified pesticide applicator ID. And last, yung BPI certification of usage na binibigay po ng quarantine. Okay? So, ito po yung process flow for walk-in clients, no? First, si client, isasubmit niya yung application. Then, we will check if complete po yung submitted na documents. Otherwise, kung hindi po siya complete, hindi po namin tatanggapin ang application po natin, no? Then, after kumpleto na po ang submitted documents, we will evaluate, no? We will evaluate most especially yung disposition logbook. Sa disposition logbook kasi, i-check po namin, ibabangga po namin yung usage na dineclare nyo or nireflect sa logbook versus doon sa in-issue ni BPI na certification of usage. At the same time, kapag meron po tayong purchases na ginawa, kailangan din po namin siya i-verify sa distributor ninyo or sa supplier. Then, after evaluation, ipapa-review na po ang permit to purchase nyo sa Chemist 5 po namin. Then, after review, kung wala na pong revision sa permit, we will endorse na po, no, yung permit sa Office of the Executive Director. Then, upon approval, inform na po si client na ready for pick up na po yung permit to purchase. Then, after po nun, mag-i-issue po ng bill form and order of payment and yung sa official receipt, no? So, after issuance ng official receipt po, i-record lang po yung OR details sa mismong permit. Then, after recording po, i-release na po yung permit to purchase. So, that's it for the walk-in application po no, ng permit to purchase methyl bromide. So, another process is yung online application. For online application, same lang po siya ng requirements sa ating walk-in. Ang kaiba lang, yung pag-submit is through email, no? So, sinasubmit po siya sa email address ng fpa central77.ppmb@gmail.com, no? After submission, ayun, evaluate ulit po natin. Then, same process. Ang isang difference po niya sa walk-in clients ay yung pag-release ng permit, no? So, sa releasing, yung scanned copy of the approved permit to purchase, isasend po namin siya via email sa regional office or pinakamalapit na provincial office no ng applicants. Then si mismong regional or provincial office na namin ang magre-release ng permit and mag-i-issue ng official receipt. Then yung original copy, isasend na po namin siya via courier sa mismong regional or provincial office namin. Then dun yun na lang po siya i-claim. Ayun. So, yung fee po, same lang po dun sa walk-in clients, 450 pesos per permit. Bale, ito po yung sa application form, no, for permit to purchase methyl bromide. Gusto ko lang po i-note dito yung sa explanation box, no. Nakalagay dito, if the requested quantity is more than the average 6 months consumption, kindly provide an explanation on the projected use. So, for example po, consumption nyo for the last 6 months is around 500 cans, no? Then, bigla kayong nag-request ngayon ng 1,000 cans. So, parang times 2 po. Kailangan po natin i-fill up yung etong explanation box, no? So, pwede pong ina-anticipate nyo na mag-i-increase po yung fumigation ninyo. Kaya, nag-request po kayo ng mas mataas kaysa yung quantity ng consumption nyo for the last 6 months. Ayun, so sa guidelines po natin, entries in logbook, all importers, importer distributor, and users, applicators are required to maintain a logbook. So, dito po sa logbook, lahat po dapat ng incoming and outgoing methyl bromide transactions natin ay nakalagay. The first transaction of the month shall be placed in a new page. So, hindi po dapat tuloy-tuloy yung pagre-report natin. The beginning inventory of methyl bromide shall be placed on the upper right portion of the said new page. And at the end of the month, the quantity purchased and used shall be totaled and the ending balance shall be reflected at the lower portion of the logbook. Then, ito po yung pinaka-importante, a certification signed by authorized representative. Authorized representative, ito po yung fumigator natin, no? Shall be reflected at the end of every month. Ayan. So, summary lang po. So, for purchases po, ang kailangan po namin makita sa logbook, yung mismong permit number, issuance ng date of issuance ng permit, then yung quantity allowed, no, na approve, then yung quantity purchase, and yung name ng distributor. So gusto ko lang po i-note dito, no, for example, yung sa permit natin ang na-approve ay 500 cans. However, for this month, ang binili lang natin is 250 cans. So, ang kailangan nyo lang i-reflect sa quantity purchase is 250 cans and not 500 cans. Okay, so kung yung 250 cans remaining ay ipopurchase nyo next month, so sa December dapat po siya mare-reflect. Ayun. So, for the direct uses or applications, ang dapat po naka-reflect sa logbook ay yung name ng customer, date ng fumigation, products na na-fumigate. So, dapat yung scope lang na nabanggit kanina ang na-fumigate natin. Then, volume of goods, product fumigated, yung place ng fumigation, yung quantity na nagamit, and yung signature, full name of BPI, Authorized Quarantine Inspector, who supervised the fumigation or application. Ayun. Yun. So, for the monitoring and reporting system, logbook should be presented for monitoring, checking, and validation monthly. So, kindly note po, dapat monthly po natin pinapavalidate ang logbook natin sa ating inspectors, no? FPA regional officers shall sign the logbook once validated or checked. Then, for consolidation and record purposes, certified copies of the validated logbooks shall be submitted to FPA Central Office. So, for movement, no, meron din po tayong ini-issue na permit to borrow methyl bromide, no. So, for this permit, ang kailangan lang po nating requirements is same lang po siya sa permit to purchase, kaya lang yung application form is wala na. Parang ang kailangan na lang is yung parang request letter addressed to our director kung bakit kailangan mong mag-borrow ng methyl bromide, at the same time kung kanino and kung ilan, no? So, all lending, loaning, and borrowing of methyl bromide shall be authorized by FPA. Request shall be received by the FPA 5 working days prior to its use or application. So, ayun. So, itong permit to borrow po ay free po, no? Free po siya. Ayan. So, for distribution, all importer distributors of methyl bromide should sell only to FPA licensed pest control operators with appropriate PP issued by the FPA. So, kindly note mga importer distributors natin, no? Kailangan ang bebentahan lang natin ay yung may permit to purchase, and dapat yung permit to purchase po nila ay may seal, no? Otherwise, kung walang seal po yan, hindi po yan valid. Same is true po kay permit to borrow po natin. Ayun, so I think ito na po yung last slide, no? So for penalties, basahin ko lang, no? Administrative sanction shall be imposed against violators of this circular, which includes suspension of FPE license as pesticide importer or distributor or handler as the case may be. Pwede rin pong cancellation or non-issuance ng KAIP for importers, and methyl bromide sa mga fumigators, no? Additional penalty of 5,000 per can shall be imposed in the following violation. So, kindly note po, leakage of methyl bromide from stocks due to negligence of owner. So, as much as possible po, kung ilan lang po yung gagamitin natin for the next 6 months, is yun lang dapat po yung re-request para po maiwasan po natin ang leakage ng methyl bromide. So 5,000 per can din po pag purchasing or selling without corresponding permit. And last is yung borrowing or lending and advances without approval from the FPA. So kindly note lang po tong mga tatlo. Otherwise, kung ginawa po natin ito, may karapatang penalty po. So, ayun po, no? So, that will be all po, no? Thank you for listening. You may contact us po for all methyl bromide transactions, especially sa permit to purchase methyl bromide at email fpacentral77.ppmp@gmail.com or telephone number 02-8920-8449. So, thank you po.
Alright, maraming salamat po, Ms. Erica, for that detailed explanation regarding the issuance of permit to purchase methyl bromide. Actually, may connection din po yung diniscuss ni Ms. Erica sa isa sa mga diniscuss din ni Ms. Aleni kanina, no? Particularly sa accreditation services. Isa po kasi sa mga requirements para ma-issue po kayo ng permit to purchase methyl bromide, dapat po may CPA license po kayo. So isa po yun sa dapat po natin tandaan regarding po sa top. Alright, let's proceed to our next topic, laboratory analysis of fertilizer samples. It is an honor for me to introduce to you Sir Paul Christian J. Berwega, Chemistry from Laboratory Services Division. Magandang umaga po, Sir Paul. The virtual floor is now yours.
Welcome and good afternoon to everyone. For this webinar, our objective is to learn and understand the different requirements and procedures associated with the request for the analysis of fertilizers and other matters related to laboratory test results. To begin, I would like to give a brief overview about the Laboratory Services Division. So the Laboratory Services Division is a technical support division of FPA mandated to assist the agency in setting regulatory standards by conducting laboratory tests on fertilizer, pesticide, and other agricultural products for quality assurance. We pledge to ensure customer satisfaction by providing reliable and accurate test results in accordance with ISO IEC 17025-2017 standard and to continually improve the efficiency and effectiveness of LSD's processes and services through the implementation and adherence to the quality management system. So, having transitioned from ISO 17025-2005 standard, we are now ISO IEC 17025-2017 accredited in the testing of the following parameters. In particular, for fertilizer analysis, we have NPK, macronutrients, and micronutrients. And for pesticide analysis, we have insecticide and acaricide formulations, herbicide formulations, and fungicide formulations as listed. So how do you place a request for analysis of fertilizer? If you are a high school, college undergraduate, or graduate student, agricultural researcher, or fertilizer handler for which the analysis of fertilizer sample is intended for research and other purposes, the following applies. So we have the following requirements. First po is yung request for analysis form na filled out. You can download this from the FPA website or pwede nyo po siyang i-fill out in person kapag pumunta na po kayo dito during the submission po of your sample. And then for the fertilizer sample, please take note that we have a minimum of 500 grams na requirement po para sa solid fortified organic, 250 grams for solid inorganic, and 500 ml for liquid organic or inorganic fertilizer. Kapag bago po yung inyong fertilizer or imported po siya, you also have to submit safety data sheets for the new imported fertilizer na photocopy. And then if you have your preferred procedure and you had it evaluated and approved po siya ng LSD, you also have to submit po yung photocopy po ng inyong procedure. And then if requested po by LSD, you may also need to provide your certificate of analysis and your analytical standard po, so if necessary. And then you also have your bill form, your order of payment, and your official receipt. Just to show you, ito po yung aming fertilizer request for analysis form. So I have already attached a link on this page. So if you happen to download this presentation afterwards, you may just opt to click the link. So you'll be redirected to the download page of the specific form. Now, we come to the steps sa pagsasubmit nyo po ng request for fertilizer analysis. So first, you must submit the accomplished request for laboratory analysis form. Then, iti-check po yan ng aming administrative assistant na si Ms. Kazel Ann Arsambo. And then, i-evaluate po yung inyong sample for suitability, including po yung quantity na isasubmit nyo. And then, bibigyan po kayo ng bill form. So, before, this is done sa third floor, but for now, given the current situation, pupuntahan po namin kayo sa waiting area po, malapit po sa guard. Then, after this, you pay the corresponding fees po indicated in your bill form. Sa amin pong accounting staff po, sa cashier's office sa first floor. So, we'll be directed by our staff kung saan po kayo magbabayad. And then, after issuance ng inyong pong official receipt, ibibigay po ninyo yung inyong original receipt sa amin pong staff. So, for the list of fees po na inyong babayaran, following po are the fees. So, for macronutrients, ayan po, hindi na po natin siya iisa-isa. Then, micronutrients. For plant growth regulators, following are the prices of fees. Then, for other analysis, including microbial testing. After you present yung inyo pong original copy ng official receipt sa amin pong admin staff, i-record niya po yung OR doon po sa request for analysis, and then if you fill out niya kung ano po yung specific po na test parameters na ipapa-analyze ninyo. After this, ifa-file namin and kukunin na namin yung samples, and then you will wait for the result of the laboratory analysis. Just to inform you kung paano po yung process sa pag-analyze po ng samples po ninyo. So we prepare the fertilizer samples, including yung mga required reagents for analysis. And then, after this, we conduct the laboratory analysis hanggang po sa encoding ng test results, which is, we are given 15 working days para po ma-accomplish po yun siya. After that, we review the test results and prepare the laboratory test report. And then, following is the approval and the release of the laboratory test report. So, after this, our executive director will also approve the test report for releasing po sa inyo. We do notify you po kapag na-approve na po and ready na for releasing yung inyo pong test report via email or phone number. So, kailangan nyo po siyang indicate doon po sa inyong test request form. So, all in all, ang ang turnaround time namin para sa isang regular fertilizer analysis is 20 working days. Now, para mas clear lang din po sa inyo, I have included here in my presentation kung sino po yung inyo pong mga hahanapin. So, who to look for. Kapag pumunta po kayo dito, magtatanong po kayo first po doon sa aming guard, which pwede niya po kayong i-orient sa kung ano po yung kailangan nyong gawin, or siya po yung mag-i-inform sa amin, sa aming staff sa third floor kapag meron pong client or kapag naandun po kayo and meron po kayong concerns. So, in particular, si Miss Kazel Ann Arsambo, who is our Administrative Assistant 3 sa LSD, ang magre-receive po ng inyong mga samples and mag-assist po sa inyo sa pag-fill out po ng inyong fertilizer request for analysis forms. So, ito po siya, si Ma'am Kazel. She's very friendly po sa aming mga client. And then, dito po yung aming waiting area to accommodate you po during po dun sa inyong waiting times. Just a reminder po, for your safety, please follow applicable health protocols na lang, such as yung wearing po ng inyong face mask, social distancing, use of hand sanitizers and disinfectants, frequent washing of hands with soap and water is also encouraged. So for our second group of clients, which are those clients submitting samples for fertilizer registration and licensing, this form part of the bulk of our samples. So in essence, yung process po ng request for fertilizer analysis is just the same po doon sa process ng for research. However, yung samples po ninyo is i-receive po ng aming Fertilizer Regulations Division, and sa kanila din po namin i-release yung inyo pong test results. So just to show you, I have here included na lang din in this presentation the Citizens Charter para po doon sa mga registrants po and yung mga for licensing yung purpose ng fertilizer analysis. In essence, they are just the same naman po. We give you some guidance na lang din po on interpretation of your test results. This has been taken from the presentation of Sir Marlo B. Diblois, Senior Agriculturist of our Fertilizer Regulations Division. For confirmatory test results, the results should be within the tolerance levels as follows. For inorganic fertilizer and fortified organic fertilizers, the permissible minimum tolerance from the guaranteed nutrient shall not be less than 98% and shall not exceed 2 percentage units for each declared nutrient. For plant growth regulators, laboratory results shall meet the minimum value declared and must not exceed up to 20% relative deviation. For biostimulants, following are the permissible tolerances. For heavy metals as well, tolerances and maximum limits are given herewith. So, di ko na po siya masyadong i-discuss. Pwede nyo po siyang makita dito po sa presentation. Now, we come to the last part. So, later on, we will be having our question and answer by our host. So, I hope to hear from you your questions and to answer them to the best of my capability. In case you have any other concerns from this point onwards, you may also reach us at 8920-8449 or email us at fpa.lsd@gmail.com. Thank you.
Alright, maraming salamat po Sir Paul for that well-explained presentation regarding the laboratory analysis of fertilizer samples. Again po, we will entertain your queries at the end po ng presentation ng ating mga speakers. Just message your questions sa aming Zoom chat box or comment it if naka-live naman po kayo sa aming Facebook page. Moving along with our presentation this morning, allow me to introduce to you our next topic, the laboratory analysis of pesticide samples. It is a privilege for me to introduce to you our guest speaker for this topic, Ms. Charmaine Pexon, Chemistry from Laboratory Services Division. Magandang umaga po, ma'am. The virtual floor is now yours.
Yes, so why are we doing this seminar? It is to share with you an overview of the process of laboratory analysis of pesticides in LSD, as well as present to you the requirements necessary for availing of our testing services. So why does LSD perform laboratory testing of pesticide samples? It is to support our product registration or licensing requirements of FPA and to provide support also to the product monitoring activities of our regional field units. We also extend our laboratory testing services to researchers who conduct pesticides, particularly students and other agricultural researchers. And also we offer our testing services to pesticide handlers who conducts their own product quality monitoring of their products from their stock or from the market. So currently, this is the list of pesticide active ingredients that are available in the available for analysis in LSD. So there are a total of 143 pesticide active ingredients in pesticide formulated products, 15 of which have accredited methods. So who may avail of our testing services? So for our internal customers, of course, the Pesticide Regulations Division. And then for our external customers, the pesticide handlers, agricultural researchers, and students. So what are the requirements for availing of the testing services? So first, the request for analysis form, which you can download it from our website. Just click the services and select laboratory, and you can download our request for analysis form. And then you have to submit your pesticide sample. So our minimum requirement is 250 grams for solid samples and 250 ml for liquid samples. If your product is a new imported pesticide, you have to provide us the safety data sheet as well. And then if the analysis is not available or is a new active ingredient for analysis, you have to provide us the analytical testing procedure. And then you also have to provide us the analytical standard, including its certificate of analysis. And then the bill form, order of payment, and official receipt is, of course, a requirement for the processing of payment. So here are our fees and charges for pesticide analysis. So basically, most of our analysis for pesticide active ingredients that we do is GC analysis and HPLC analysis. So these fees and charges are based on the AO number 19 series of 2012, AO number 01 series of 2015, and AO number 01 series of 2012. You can also view this from our website. So if the purpose of your analysis is for product registration or monitoring activities, so basically you have to submit your sample and request first to our regulations division, to pesticide regulations division, and they will turn over the sample and the request to us. So after submitting to us the laboratory analysis, we will perform the analysis and release the results, and we will notify you once the laboratory test report is available. So the whole process, the turnaround time is 20 working days. So if the purpose of for analysis is for research and other purposes, you can directly submit to us your request. So similar to the case for fertilizer analysis, you can directly submit to LSD your samples and requests. The process is the same for this type of analysis. So same lang po. And then we will also notify you for the release of your laboratory test report, and the processing time is 20 working days as well. So if the analysis is not available in LST, you can tap our recognized laboratories and other third-party laboratories for your testing services needs. So for the recognized laboratories, you may visit our website and click the link for the FPA recognized laboratories, and you can view the list of labs with their contact information there. So any changes in the request for analysis should be properly communicated to us, and it should be properly documented. So for the interpretation of laboratory test results, whether the pesticide product meets the declared specifications, this is determined by and evaluated by the pesticide regulations divisions. Basically, their basis for the evaluation of laboratory results is based on manual on development and use of FAO and WHO specifications for pesticides. So here is the sample for the tolerance levels for formulated products. So it varies depending on the declared content of your product. So for further inquiries, you may contact LSD at our email address at fpa.lsd@gmail.com or through our landline number 8920-8449, or you may visit us at FPA Central Office here in Visayas Avenue, Quezon City. That would be all. Thank you for listening.
Maraming salamat po, Ms. Charmaine, for that quick yet detailed explanation regarding the laboratory services for pesticide samples. Now, let us open the floor for questions from our participants. All right, our first question from Mr. Nile Cordillo. Pwede po bang mag-apply ng fertilizer researcher ang nasa Accredited? I think this question is addressed to Ms. Eleni.
Yes po, pwede po mag-apply ng fertilizer researcher po ang mga nasa academe as long as nakakomply po with the requirements.
Alright, so clear naman po tayo dun, pwede daw po mag-apply basta nakasubmit tayo ng mga necessary requirements. Next, we have another question from P. Gary Ortiz. In regard to renewal of accreditation licenses based on lecture earlier, requirements are application form, symposium, and usage report. Do we have to attach a medical certificate? What will be the status of licensure training and exam for next year? Is it still virtual or face-to-face? Thank you.
For the medical certificate, hindi namin siya nire-record sa CPA. Si medical certificate po ay requirement po for the PCO license po. And then yung sa status naman po ng licensure trainings po for the next year, hindi pa rin po kami nakakapag-decide. So I think during the meeting na lang po with the PATA po on the next schedule po, dun pa lang po namin malalaman kung mag-virtual or face-to-face trainings na po.
Alright, maraming salamat po, Miss Alani. Anyway po, yung regarding naman po sa ating mga trainees, kung virtual ba or face-to-face, we will announce it naman po. Just visit our website from time to time. So bigyan nyo lang po kami ng enough time to discuss it with our training associations. Next, we have another question from Nerio Camposano. CPA po ba ay for commercial scale? Yung mga worker po ba sa research farm na nag-apply ng pesticides ay dapat CPA? Sa research farm lang sila nag-a-apply ng pesticides. Thanks.
So for CPA, ina-accredit po natin yung mga PCO license po, and meron din po tayong tinatawag na in-house CPA. Ito po sa in-house CPA, ito po yung mga example po, yung under po na isang plantation or such po. So hindi lang po for commercial scale, meron din po tayong mga in-house CPA.
Next, we have another question. For renewal of 2 licenses, CPA and ARCO, can I use same certificate for symposium attended to renew my licenses, or do I need to attend different symposiums to renew each license?
For the symposium, make sure lamang po na yung inattendan nyo pong symposium ay intended po for CPA or ARCO. Kung ano man po yung accreditation nyo po, dapat po yun yung a-attendan nyo po na symposium, kasi meron po tayong mga symposium na hindi naman po related for ARCO, for CPA lang po. So, dapat po i-check nyo po na intended po siya for CPA and ARCO po.
So ayun, so dapat i-double check natin kung yung inattendan ba natin na symposium is talagang related sa CPA at sa ARCO. Next po, we have another question from Virginia Ocampo. Is ARCO training required for both pesticide and fertilizer handlers?
So based po sa Green Book natin, ARCO po ay required po sa pesticide handlers.
Right, so I think clear naman po yun, no? Nag-base po tayo sa ating Green Book na pesticide handlers na daw po. Next, another question from Nile Pardillo. You mentioned only walk-in. Can we send samples through courier and transact through online? Thank you. Does your regional offices conducted these kind of analysis if ever need talaga mag-walk-in to transact? We are from Region 6. Thank you. I think this question is addressed to the Laboratory Services Division with Sir Paul.
Yes, Ms. Camille. Thank you, Sir Nile Pardillo, po for your question. Bali, sir, as of the moment, we do not have regional laboratory facilities. With regards po doon sa walk-in na submission po ng samples, hindi po siya feasible as of the moment, but we do encourage that you coordinate po with the regional offices para po ma-assess yung feasibility ng pagsisend na lang po ng samples dito po sa amin. And with regards doon sa form, pwede nyo naman po siyang i-fill up after downloading. Ayun po. Other than that, meron din po kaming mga recognized laboratories, although as of the moment, yung pinakamalapit po siguro dyan sa inyo is sa Region 10 na or sa Region 12. So, ayun, if may mga laboratories din po na capable and willing din po na mag-apply sa aming laboratory recognition program, we are open po for their application para lalapit po sa inyo yung aming laboratory services. Thank you po.
Maraming salamat po.
Camille.
Yes po, yes, Ma'am Je. I think we have Ma'am Je, one of the
Gusto ko lang
panelists.
mag-add doon sa sinabi ni Paul regarding kasi sa sending ang samples to courier and to courier. So, currently kasi, I think yung mga courier like mga GRS, mga LBC, they are not receiving chemical samples. So, actually yan din ang nagiging problem ng regional offices namin, yung sending the chemical samples, the pesticides, and the fertilizer samples to the courier. So, ang ano namin dyan, ang nagiging approach namin dyan, we recognize yung mga laboratories na capable of conducting analysis for fertilizer and pesticides. So, meron kaming a list of recognized labs na, as mentioned by Paul, which you can find that in our FPA website. So, meron na kaming at least 6 na recognize. So it depends on your location. So you can access those labs if yung type of analysis for fertilizer or pesticide can be done by those recognized labs. So ang ano lang naman dyan, sir, is yung ano doon yung kasi yung mga recognized labs namin, they have specific kasi na type of analysis that they can provide. So hindi naman lahat. So that's why you need to coordinate with them if they are capable. Yun po, it is an addition doon sa sinasabi nga ni Paul. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Che. Now let's proceed to our next question. All right, I think may additional question po si Mr. Neil Fardilio. Sir, you may unmute yourself po para po ma-clarify po yung questions ninyo.
Hello po, good morning po.
Yes po, sir. Good morning po.
Kasi we tried already sending po samples through courier sa UPLB. If in case po na pwede yung mga courier na tatanggap ng mga samples, pwede po kaming mag-send directly dyan po sa main office niyo po.
Yes. Yes, sir. Actually, you can directly, if possible naman po kung in-accept naman po siya ng courier, pwede po kayong mag-submit ng inyong sample directly to FPA dito sa central office.
Okay po. Thank you po. Salamat po.
Alright, maraming salamat po, Mr. Neil, for that question. Next, let's move on. From Nerio Camposano. Available po ba ang mga STS ng lahat ng fertilizers and pesticides sa FPA? Paano po makakakuha ng copy kung available? Thanks.
Actually po, ma'am, for the copies of safety data sheets, maybe you could coordinate to our Pesticide Regulations Division and Fertilizer Regulations Division because this is part of the requirement for the registration of new fertilizer and pesticides. Maybe you could inquire from them, ma'am, if you could get a copy of the SDS. Thank you.
So, ayan. So, let's communicate na po sa FRD and PRD through email, or you can email us at fpacentral77 para ma-forward po namin sa proper division kung nagbibigay po ba talaga sila or hindi. Next, we have another question. Notice that common disinfectants like glutaraldehyde, are not listed in your service capabilities. Where will stakeholders submit their samples for this requirement? Do you have any third-party accredited laboratories?
Yes. For this question po, actually po right now talaga, the Laboratory Services Division is not capable of analyzing disinfectants, particularly for glutaraldehyde. Actually, ma'am, for this type of samples, maybe you could refer to our Pesticide Regulations Division kasi sila po yung nakakaalam kung saan po pwedeng magpa-analyze na third-party laboratories. Pero sa recognized laboratories po right now, wala pa rin po ito sa list ng scope ng kanilang pina-recognize sa amin.
I think we have additional input po from Ma'am Che, one of the panelists for this episode.
Hello, thank you for that question sa Anonymous. In addition to sinabi nga ni Xiang, yung lahat ng mga services kasi being recognized by the FPA to Laboratory Recognition Program, nakalist doon yung mga na capability lang nila. But then we should remember that yung purpose kasi ng recognized lab is to provide yung mga analysis or laboratory results that can be used in the regulatory decision making of the regulations divisions. Pag hindi naman ipapa-register yung product, it's not necessarily that you should utilize yung mga mga labs or the FLSD. So actually you can utilize other if for the purpose lang na you'll be informed kung ano yung unless they're going to apply that for registration. Thank you.
Alright, maraming salamat po, Ma'am Je. So I hope po sa mga nagtanong po nito, sana po nabigyan ng linaw yung katanungan po ninyo. Let's move on to our next question. We have from Nemesio Trilana. Sir, suppose we already have result of the product intended for registration. Do it need for confirmation test from FPA lab? But how about if the sample to be tested is direct to FPA? So that means no more confirmation tests should be conducted.
Hello po, Sir Nemesio Villano. Sir, medyo na-lost lang po ako dun sa question. So, suppose we already have result of the product intended for registration. We need for confirmation test. Sir, bale, if ang question niyo po is kung meron na pong result, yung result po na ito is from doon po sa supplier, dadaan po siya bale sa for our registration sa FRD po. Yung test po na gagawin namin is independent po doon sa test na ginawa po ng supplier. That is for the purpose po ng as requirement po sa registration po. If yun po yung tinatanong niyo, sir.
Mr. Nemesio Trilana, if yun po yung sagot ninyo, you may raise your hand if you need further clarifications. Pag wala na, we'll move on to our next question. I guess we are good. Let's move on to our next question from Miss Mary Beth Aquino. Ilang years po ang validity ng certified samples like NPKS? If the result failed po, can we resubmit once again at malalaman din ba kung anong parameters ang nag-failed or in what reason po? Example po, urea with zinc.
With regards po sa validity ng aming testing, yung FRD na po siguro yung makakapagsabi kung gaano po nila katagal i-accept na. Actually, once na mag-apply naman po kayo for registration or for licensing, sila na po yung mag-endorse sa amin ng samples po ninyo. So, after po ng analysis ng laboratory, i-interpret na po nila yon for kung okay yung samples po nyo for registration. So if mag-fail po yung isang specific parameter, bale, dito po sa naintindihan ko is tinatanong nyo if malalaman kung ano po yung reason kung bakit po siya nag-fail. Hindi po natin siya maru-root cause on the end po ng laboratory since i-analyze po namin yung samples po ninyo on an as-received basis po. So, there could be other factors such as doon po sa sampling, kung naging representative po siya, ayun. And kung walang nangyaring contamination during transport po ng samples po ninyo. Ayun po. Thank you.
I think Ma'am Je would like to add something regarding
Yes.
sa question.
I just want to elaborate it further kasi although yung question actually is directly related to registration. Actually we should remember that meron tayong tinatawag na certificate of analysis pag nagpapa-register ka ng product. It means it has something to do with the profile of the fertilizer or pesticide that you are trying to register with FPA. So may idea ka na because you want to register kung ano yung guaranteed analysis, for example, in this case, yung NPK. So you have the guaranteed analysis in your mind that you want to register this, showing the certificate of analysis that you have for that product. Kasi bago ka naman nagpa-register, siyempre you are aware na yung product mo talaga indeed contains ng fertilizer product sa ipaparegister mo. In our case naman, it is our duty as a regulatory agency na i-confirm namin na yung guaranteed analysis that you are claiming that contain in that particular product that you are trying to register with us, ay meron talagang ganun. Diba? You claim it's 14-14-14. So, ibig sabihin, ganun talaga yung content ng product na yun na intake. So, upon confirmation na meron talagang ganun, so we're going to register that the FRD, the specific division handling that kind of services, i-register niya. Pag nag-fail siya, so it means the analysis, the content of the product that you are trying to claim is hindi totoo. So doon yon malalaman kung ano talaga yung actual content ng product mo. But we should remember that the laboratory has the precision and the accuracy parameters bago namin i-release ng results. So ibig sabihin, it is we analyze the sample as received and we provide you the data based on the different accuracy and precision parameters that the procedure as well as the instrumentation that we use. Yun po. Hope it answered your question, sir. Ma'am pala, sorry.
Right. Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Che. So if Miss Aquino, if may clarification po kayo, you may raise your hand later po. But for now, we will entertain po yung previous question po natin na from Mr. Nemesio Trilliana. Sir, you were raising your hand earlier. You may unmute yourself po. Sir Nemesio Trilliana, you may unmute yourself po.
Opo. Meron ka ng result ng test ng product mo. But di ba po kailangan pa i-confirm yun sa laboratory nyo? Kasi halimbawa galing ina-analyze siya sa ibang laboratory, lalo pa nga't hindi accredited ng FPA. But how about po yung kung dahil mismo i-re-recta na sa inyo yung analysis?
Actually, yes sir, hello po. Thank you for the question. Actually, it's a regulatory related question, actually, sir, ang purpose kasi that you are going to file for registration ng product niyo po is because you meron kayong proof that meron pong nutrient yung product niyo na pinaparegister niyo.
Opo, yes po.
Opo. So ibig sabihin, actually, ang confirmatory test, pag sa FPA na, bakit may experience na ba kayo, sir, that we did not use?
Hindi, about ma'am yung confirmatory value. Kasi halimbawa, na-test na nga po ninyo na meron talaga
yung... Sa FPA po yun, sir. Of course, sir. Sa FPA po ninyo pina-analyze. Mismo, sir?
Hindi po, kasi kung meron nga po kayo naka-ready na di ba magsasubmit po kayo ng product registration. Meron na kayong naka-ready na result of test. Eh, di ba po, i-require pa yun analysis. Confirmatory.
Opo.
And then yung value, di ba meron po silang certain value na dapat ganun lang yung difference. Kung halimbawa, let's say na you find na nandun lahat yung elements, pero yung hawat, value po.
That's why, sir, it's a confirmatory analysis kasi meron kang certificate of analysis from, actually, it's been being implemented for how many years na? It's part of the...
Hindi, kahit po bago. Hindi po ba nire-required yun? Opo, bago pag sa remission po ng product.
Kasi, sir, di ba, we have this, we have this rules sa regulatory po namin that the laboratory that provided us the laboratory results must be recognized by the FPA that those laboratories indeed can provide us the reliable laboratory results that can be used in the regulatory decision making. That's why we consider yung confirmatory analysis, those results being provided only by the recognized lab of the FPA, because because the product, I imagine, it will be registered and it will be used in the Philippine agriculture for
Yes
how
po, I
many
understand.
years. That's why we should ensure, and it is the main duty of the FPA as a regulatory agency, to ensure the quality of the product by having the quality check and balance. So that's why we have that kind of procedure na we have to confirm that whatever the result, the certificate of analysis or the guaranteed analysis being claimed by the client is indeed true in order to protect those in the
Yes po,
agriculture
yes po.
sector. Yun lang po sir ang reason.
Ma'am, kung idirekta na po sa inyo, halimbawa po,
Yes sir, it is it is doable because yun nga ang sinasabi ko sir,
kasi yung
result-
meron po kasing tulad po nung imported. Let's say imported, meron na silang laboratory analysis but it's required by
Yes,
the
sir.
FPA
Yes,
to
sir.
have a confirmatory test. Then how about yung pong mga locally na wala pang
Nakadirect sa SPS sa record. Yes sir, it's acceptable. That's why nga po, di ba sir,
Korekta na po sa inyo. Kasi po yung iba, it so happen na nagpa-test sa hindi po recognized na laboratory ng EPA. So, I understand, i-required pa po nyo yun, di ba po?
Actually sir, ito ganito sir Actually, yung question is sa regulatory, it should be directed to the regulatory division namin, Since this is episode kasi is for laboratory services division. Actually, we have a support function to the regulations division. Because of the concept that we are trying to assess the regulatory activities of the FPA by providing them the reliable laboratory results. Ngayon sir, in essence, yung confirmatory results being produced by the LSD or the other recognized labs, I believe they should be adequate enough to be used in whatever regulatory decision making of these divisions.
So ma'am, pag-recognize po, it does not need na magpa-confirm laboratory pa sa inyo?
Pag sinabi mo kasi recognized lab, sir, meron silang recognition certificate.
Kasi may binigay naman po
yung nun.
Doon po sa may nabasa ko na may list of accredited laboratory. So kung po kami magpa-analyze, that means hindi na po ninyo re-required na magpa-laboratory analysis pa sa EPA lab?
Yes sir, that's the ibig sabihin kasi sir.
Kasi meron po kasi nag-advise at nagtatanong sa akin na saan daw pwedeng magpa-analyze ng product nila. So I advise them na kung available po sa EPA, doon na lang kayong magpa-test kasi baka doble-doble pa po yung analysis kasi may confirmatory pa. Di ba po?
Sa EPA sa recognized labs po. I understand po. Yun mo sir, tama po kayo. So ibig sabihin sir, I just want to emphasize that yung whatever yung results produced by the FPA lab, actually the same ang recognition being done doon sa ang treatment doon sa results that will be produced by the recognized lab. That's why we recognize them that they can indeed provide reliable results consistent doon sa expectations ng FPA that will be used in the registration. Yan po. Thank you, sir, for the question.
Alright, so I guess Sir Neil, sana po naliwanagan na po namin yung question po ninyo, na-clarify na po.
Salamat po.
Alright, thank you po. Next, let's move on to our next question from Joseph Edward Pilarta. If products like spreaders and adjuvants were already tested with a foreign lab and with COA, is FPA requiring tests again in your lab?
Hello. Actually, this question actually is registration. Dapat kasi you attended the PRD or the regulatory division na.
Hello, Sir Joseph. Thank you for the question. Yung particular po na product po na to, yung spreaders and adjuvants, I still have to confirm po doon sa FRD kung meron po kaming mga standards po na nakaset para po dito. But then, kapag meron pong mga products na for registration, foreign man siya and na-analyze, tapos meron pong COA, we need to verify po yung mga results nila kung sakto po siya doon sa guaranteed po na test result po doon sa COA niya. So yun po yung function namin as laboratory po, as service lab ng FPA po.
Right, thank you, Sir Paul. Now let's move on to our next question from Mr. Joey Vergara. So Region 8 po, meron po ba ang nagkakandak ng training seminar for ASD? I guess this question is addressed to Ms. Eleni.
Yes, sir. Hello, Sir Joey. For ASD training po schedule, kindly coordinate na lang po with our regional officer po sa Region 8. Sinend ko po sa inyo privately yung contact number po ng aming regional officer.
Next, we have another question from Miss Jenny Terry Casas. Good morning, ma'am. For active ingredient analysis of pesticides, can we send samples to your FPA regional offices, or is there a protocol procedure for sending samples directly to your laboratory in Luzon? Our location is in Davao po. Thank you.
Yes, hello, good morning po. For the submission po of your sample for analysis, actually, sir, Sir Zin, kung wala po kayong problem sa courier po in sending your samples, you can directly send it to our office here in Luzon or to our laboratory here in Luzon. Or you could also go to our regional office to assist you with your submission of the sample po.
Next, we have another question from Nile Pardillo. Malapit po kami sa Cebu. Wala pong accredited laboratory doon.
Yes, sir. Right now po kasi wala pa po talagang recognized lab. We tried rin pong inviting laboratories from Region 7. However po, wala pa rin po kasi yung nag-apply sa amin for the recognition. Actually, sir, this rin po ulit, mag-invite po ulit kami ng laboratories for the recognition program para nga po magkaroon na ng mga recognized labs sa area nyo. Yun po, sir. So, right now po, ang advice lang po is to, kung possible po na isend yung sample nyo sa amin here in central office, yun na lang po yung gawin muna. And then, or dun sa pinakamalapit na lang po ng mga recognized labs sa Cebu. Ayun po, yung list po ng recognized labs na posted naman po sa aming website.
Alright, maraming salamat. Next, let's move on to our next question from Kim Mark Menes. Applicable po ba sa CPA na mag-conduct ng in-house fumigation sa mga sister companies po nito?
Sir Kim Mark, saan lang po kayo employed na company specific po, doon lamang kayo pwedeng mag-conduct po ng doon nyo lang po pwede gamitin yung accreditation nyo po, specific po doon sa company na employed nyo po. So kung sister company po, hindi po pwede kasi dapat kung saan lang po employed and kung ano lang po yung nag-reflect doon sa accreditation nyo po.
Alright, so I guess that's it. Kung wala na pong questions, we will be entertaining last 2 questions. So if may mga questions po kayo, just chat it. Pero kung wala na, we will proceed to the next part of our program. We will be closing the Q&A forum in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I guess we're good na po. Maraming salamat po for your participation and for asking questions. If may mga questions po kayo, you can email it in our official email address, fpacentral77@gmail.com, and we will cater your concerns and forward it to proper divisions para ma-accommodate po yung mga queries po ninyo. So let's move on to the next part of our program. So as a form of gratitude to our resource speakers this morning, allow us to give you this certificate of appreciation, which reads, Republic of the Philippines, Department of Agriculture, Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority. This certificate of appreciation is given to Eleni PhD Gonzalez for imparting her invaluable insights and technical expertise as resource person during the FPA webinar series season 2, episode 6, with the topic FPA accreditation services, given this 19th day of November 2021, signed by Wilfredo C. Roldan, Executive Director. The same certificate is given to Ms. Erica May C. Gaputan for the topic issuance of permit to purchase methyl bromide. Another certificate of appreciation is given to Mr. Paul Christian J. Berwega for the topic laboratory analysis of fertilizer samples. And the same certificate is given to Ms. Sharmi D. Texon for the laboratory analysis of pesticide samples. So ayan, maraming salamat po to our guest speakers and of course sa ating mga participants na kasama po natin ngayon. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Now for some announcements. Yung mga nagamit po natin ng mga resources ngayong umaga, you can access it through the link provided to you or you can scan the QR code para po makuha po ninyo yung mga presentations ng ating mga guest speakers. You will give you enough time po para ma-scan po yung QR code. I'll be giving you around 10 seconds po para ma-access po ninyo yung webinar resources po namin for this episode. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next naman, we will be having our post-evaluation. So, ito po, just a few reminders. Just make sure po na tama po yung email address na ilalagay po ninyo sa post-evaluation form po namin. May mga instances po kasi na nagpapadala po kami ng mga certificates pero hindi po nasisend dahil mali yung email address. So, paki-make sure lang po na tama po yung nilagay yung email address and yung pangalan po ninyo kung tama po ba. Sa mga participants po namin na nandito ngayon na nag-attend din last week ng episode namin na about the Fertilizer Regulations Division, we will be sending to you your e-certificates within the week po, probably po on or before Sunday. So bigyan nyo lang po kami na around 1 to 2 weeks para po ma-process yung certificates po ninyo and we will email it. So nandun po yung post-evaluation link sa aming Zoom chat box. Kung sino lang po yung mga participants na nakapag-evaluate, sila lang po yung makakatanggap ng aming digital certificate. So, nandito po, just scan the QR code or the link provided in the chat box. I'll be giving you around 10 seconds to scan the QR code. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So ayan po, maraming salamat po for actively participating for our episode 6. Currently, ito po siguro yung pinakamaraming participants na dumalo sa aming invitation. We've reached 115 po sa episode na ito. Maraming salamat po. Pantabay na lang po for further announcement if may special episode po ba kami na ibibigay sa inyo. But as of now, we are still negotiating it para po sana maka-accommodate po yung other topics. Pantabay na po, you can check our Facebook page at FPA official Facebook page for further announcements. Really po, this is Camille, your host. Maraming salamat po. Mag-ingat po tayo and have a happy launch everyone. Happy launch everyone.
Ito ng bagong pananaw sa produksyon na malakas ang kooperasyon sa pagtuwang ng mga magsasaka, pamahalaan at bagong sektor. Dadagdagan ang kaalaman sa kabuhayan. Sa negosyo, panghusayin ang kabuhayan. Angkop sa bagong teknolohiya, ang subsidio, pagtubig at infrastructure.